Hey, welcome back to the Impossible Network. It's been 7 months since our last drop and 4 years since I actually began the podcast. So before season 5 kicks off, I wanted to explain some of the changes to the types of guests we'll interview and the outcomes that we're hoping to affect. Now, back in July last year, I paused the podcast, and during this hiatus, I worked with creative elder, coach, and mentor Paul Nobby Davies on my underlying mission and vision for the Impossible Network. During one of my creative coaching calls, I recounted how a previous pod guest, Jeremy Hymans, in his book New Power, co-authored with Henry Timms, had stated that the event series, TED, had cornered ideas worth spreading. But what we really need in the world are people focused on the problems worth solving. Now, if there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that when all great problems are solved, serendipity played its part. So that got me thinking, why not make the podcast a genuine serendipity experiment? So I started with this question. If we have all these problems occurring in the world, instead of having think tanks just publishing papers on possible solutions, surely what we need are action engines, doing the real work to solve the problems on the ground. And secondly, could the Impossible Network podcast play its small part in being a catalyst for creating action engines to accelerate problem solving and progress? Well, why not try? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to interview 3 different types of people, what we're calling the difference makers, those on-the-ground change makers working to make an impact in their particular social problem area. Secondly, the domain experts, respected people of authority with specialist knowledge or skills whose ideas could be of value in finding solutions to problems. And finally, the storytellers, creative folk who are able to shape or change attitudes and behavior through the compelling emotive stories that they tell, all committed to improving the world in which we live. And then every 2 or 3 months, we will create action engine events where we will challenge our guests to collide with each other, those with different perspectives, skills, and experiences in what we're calling random collision interviews, and participate in structured design thinking workshops where we'll explore alternative ways to solve the problems they actually care about. These could be educational innovation, criminal justice reform, mental health, decarbonisation, transportation electrification, food insecurity, homelessness, artificial intelligence and the risks of, or building sustainable cities. And finally, we'll build an action engine community and database, a place to easily discover and connect with these change makers, domain experts and storytellers, filterable by experience, skills and areas of focus. Now this might sound like a crazy experiment, but I think it's going to be a blast. Okay, let's get started. Go to theimpossiblenetwork.com and follow and subscribe to our Random Collisions newsletter.